It is 6 o'clock on Tuesday, January 9th. I would like to call this meeting to order. So if we could say the pledge. Senator, would you like to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Dave, you call the roll, please.
All right. Bob Wright.
Here.
Heather Jarvis.
Here.
Linda Ertz.
Here.
Dave Stanley. Here. Brian Beeman.
Here.
All present and accounted for.
All right, thank you. I have a few adjustments to the agenda, so with that said, with the following additions and one postponement, I would like to make these changes. The treasurer has one budget amendment. The clerk would like to add MTA conference under new business, and the supervisor would like to add the tire drive under recurring business. Trustee Wright would like to postpone the key tracking system until the February board meeting. Also, the minutes were not available at the time of the board packet distribution, so they will be reviewed at the February board meeting as well. Could I have a motion to approve with those additions and that one postponement?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. What was the second addition we had to the agenda?
I'll give you this.
All
It
right,
is
all right.
It's the MTA conference.
That's the second one? Okay.
Yes.
The tire drive's the third one?
Yes.
All right.
So I have a motion and a support. Any edits or further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, next on our agenda is our guest who is our school resource PINS officer, Deputy Anthony Lindahl.
Thank you. So, I will got it on my little computer here. So it's just kind of a report of my, my reports of what I did during the summer while school was out, and then I also included what I've done in the school up until this point. So, for the summer, it was between June 12th and August 27th of the time frame of when I was actually covering Blue Lake and Cedar Creek, specifically for the pin spot. Of those, I guess the best way to show it is in numbers. The first column here is calls for service. Between Blue Lake and Cedar Creek, I took a total of 50 calls, each with a generated report number, but there were also other calls that took follow-up, so I didn't include those. So these are 50 original reports between the two townships. For the abbreviation of TS is a traffic stop. In total, between the two townships, I made a total of 15 traffic stops and wrote one citation. That was about beginning of August is when I got the new vehicle, so I didn't have a radar in there, so I couldn't really do radar enforcement or speed enforcement. So going through the windy roads, kind of difficult to kind of watch for violations. But of those 15 traffic stops, I gave 14 verbal warnings. Area business checks, those were specific areas that you guys have requested me to kind of keep an eye out for, like the Crocker Show area, checking those roads. Did 55 checks, 21 specific property checks, so those are like specific businesses going after hours, during the night, all that kind of stuff. So I did 21 of those. And different trainings I attended throughout the summer and up to this point is attended the Intoxilizer 9000 training. That was back in June. Essentially, it's just new equipment utilized in drunk driving arrests. So it's just the different new machine that they're using at the jail. So certified to do that. Boot removal training. That's specifically for schools during the lockdown drills. They put the boots in the doors so that way they can't be opened forcefully. So I did that training. Attended the basic school resource officer training. That was the end of July, beginning of August. Completed that. Also did a enhancing school safety using the behavior threat assessment. That was hosted by the Homeland Security. Basically just kind of diving into further how law enforcement works with school officials and when they receive different kinds of threats at the schools. So attended that. Also went to an active assailant debriefing. So it was hosted by the West Michigan Training Consortium for Law Enforcement. They brought up one of the actual officers who was involved in, I can't remember the name of the school, but it was one of the active shooters in 2018 in Florida. They brought up one of the officers to talk about their experience during that. They also invited an officer from the MSU campus shooting as well as the Oxford school shooting. So they brought in officers from those incidents to talk about how the whole thing went. So attended that. Attended a Stop the Bleeding course in December, and then a couple days after I was certified to be an instructor for it. So my intention with that is to teach all the staff at Holton School for Stop the Bleed. So it's utilizing more than just like active shooter responses, because they have a wood shop there, so if a kid needs more than just a Band-Aid, they'll at least be able to respond before medical comes. So that's my intention with that. Just got to work with their schedules and when they can actually do that training. So, and then got that one. So let's see, the Holton school year. I am working with the schools as well to expand the Ride with Pride program that the high school and middle school participate in, with giving the car to high school at the end of the school year. We're expanding that to the elementary as well, so that way they're aware of it once they get over to the middle school and the high school. So just trying to expand all that, just so that way it's better incentives to be good whole year long for all the kids. So expanding that. I gave a presentation K through 5 about anti-bullying. So that was pretty well received, a lot of good positive feedback from the teachers. So I've got some more presentations lined up about different safety topics. So it's just whenever they get me in next for those. So I'm still waiting for the middle and high school to say, hey, come on in, give us our little presentations now, but they have really busy schedules. So, but I've got the material for it. So, excuse me. Working with Holton admin, the administrative staff, to update their emergency operations plans. So we're trying to kind of revise how the lockdown drills are kind of, how the drills are actually enacted. So with like the fire drill or tornado drill, it's just normal habit. All right, let's go to our spots, wait for the drill to be done with, and then just go back to class. While with the active shooter, the lockdown drills, those are a little more involved than just going to your regular spot. So I'm working with the administrative staff to try and make it more involved with the staff and the students to be more of a natural response than just, all right, go to the spot, wait for the teacher to hold up the green card and go back in the classroom. So I'm working with them to update that kind of stuff. And then lastly, Holton Schools has provided me a cell phone that I use specifically for the schools, and I have given that phone number to all the students and all the staff. And amazingly, I have not gotten anything inappropriate from the students. Amazingly, knock on wood. So, but it's really well received just because I'm the only officer for both buildings. So if a teacher needs me for something, they can just call the cell phone directly, and then I can respond to it that way. But the reason I gave it to the students as well is if they don't feel comfortable talking to a teacher or something like that, they have this cell phone number that they can contact me directly and confidentially. So I don't tell anyone else what the kind of conversations are taking place. So it's another confidential way for them to reach out if they don't feel comfortable talking to a teacher or something like that. So it's going pretty well. And then stuff I've done so far in the schools itself. So I've labeled this one as police intervention / reports. So the reason I have it labeled this way is they are investigations that have a police report number associated with the investigation, specifically with the suspicious general assistance category. Some of those investigations have included incidents that have happened outside of the school and then are reported by students or staff that later resulted in criminal activity being investigated by other law enforcement officers. So in the schools, I have taken 5 weapon / assault reports, 10 marijuana, vape pens reports, 3 sex crimes, 7 suspicious or general assistance, 1 private property crash, 2 terrorist activity threat reports, and 1 welfare check. So it's been busy up to this point. So, yep, that's all I've got for you guys up to this point. So, any questions I can try and help answer? Or if you have any?
I noticed you had an intoxilizer on there. Do
Yes.
they have equipment to measure other influence of drugs and stuff, or?
For like drug driving and stuff like that, and marijuana, that's all just blood tests. So just go down to either the hospital or have a nurse at the jail do the blood draw there. So the intoxilizer is specifically for alcohol.
Okay.
Yep.
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Which shouldn't surprise you. Those radar signs that you can purchase, that the township could purchase, do you know offhand, is there any benefit in doing something like that to slow down traffic?
Yeah, that would probably be a question best answered by Roosevelt Park. I used to work for them, and they have
Okay.
those signs posted everywhere.
Okay.
So with speed enforcement, it's civil infraction, so it can only be enforced in the presence of law enforcement. So
Okay.
yeah, it'll tell you how fast you're going, but will it deter them to slow down?
Nope.
Probably not. So, but yeah, it's hard to say.
Okay.
But
I'm looking at things in particular like River Road,
Yeah.
where it's so windy and the people are passing on the double yellow
Yep.
lines, where it's treacherous,
right.
you know, so things like that. And the other question is directed like, I had a parent, I talked with a parent the other day, and whose child goes to Holton schools.
Okay.
Child is having difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one that you just pointed out on that last page.
Okay.
It's not a question so much as it's like, how do you help kids like that? I mean, they probably are one that you probably had to,
Right.
you know, haul out and do something, one of the more difficult situations.
Right. Yeah, and one of those was my idea to get the school cell phone, so that way, if the kids wanted to, they could contact me, just have conversations. It didn't even have to be anything related to law enforcement. I could be asking about questions about life, or hey, how do you get your license, or what kind of traffic laws are there that people don't know about. Just any kind of conversation that, if they wanted to have that, that was an option. It's a reason why I gave it to everybody to have. So it's difficult to understand if something's going on when they don't open up about it. You can't, you're not a mind reader kind of thing.
Mhm.
So being that I have the whole K through 12 to kind of interact with, definitely the ones that are coming up and just having normal conversations with me, I try and emphasize those, but I'm also trying to focus too on the ones that are are troubled, the ones that are frequently coming into the office and that kind of stuff. So it's just time. That's one of the biggest things that they emphasized in the school resource officer training, is that it's unique in the sense that you don't have to take care of the problem right then and there. You don't have to find the solution right now before the end of your shift. You have time to develop those solutions, those answers, those relationships. So,
and I think the final part of that dialogue is that's just not 9 to 5. Is that after hours as well? They can call you if they needed to, or not?
So I've told them that I have it on me 24/7,
Okay.
but that I too am a person and go
okay.
about my life. So I have it set up so that way after hours, if they do contact this phone, it'll automatically send them a message back saying, if this is an emergency, call 911.
Okay.
But otherwise, I will get back to you the next business day.
Okay.
So
they would know
Yep.
it's an emergency, that that someone will reach out to them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Number one, thank you for what you do, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
How are you getting accepted? You're getting accepted by the students and parents? Do they like you there?
For the most part, it's been positive feedback from a good majority of them. So
That's good.
yes.
It's good to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a couple, I think. One, is there any sense of fear or reality that an active shooter situation could happen in a school like Holton?
Well, like I said, I have taken 2 threat terrorist activity reports. The first one was pretty credible, and the prosecutors are currently handling it right now. The second one was just kind of like it happened, we have to respond to it like it actually was presented, but the prosecutor's office felt that the school can handle the next steps from there. So
Second question would be, with parents and you giving access to the kids for that phone,
Yep.
have you heard any blowback from that saying, hey, we're raising our kids, they don't need to call you, securely
right.
and say something?
I haven't had any kind of negative feedback from handing out this phone number. So, because the way I explained it is that it's, if you need help, I'm the one who answers this phone. So you know who you're going to get when you call this number. But I specifically expressed to them that it's only answered during the school hours, because the way my schedule's set up, I don't work the weekends. So if they call that number, they know it's just going to go to voicemail. So, and that was heavily explained that this is just a school phone. So, yeah, I haven't had any kind of negative feedback from it yet.
Good.
So,
Those 2 terrorist incidents you had, is that in the school? Somebody was planning an attack in the school? Or?
that's just the way the law enforcement reports are categorized for it. But yes, it was a threat towards the school involving harm to other students or staff.
Just as point of reference, Senator, when we first started talking about this, it was, 1, for this very reason. 2, the board felt strongly about that, but it was also the citizens of this township felt very, very strongly. Not only should we have a PINS officer, but we should have somebody in the school protecting the students. And they said, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out how to pay for it, just do it. And so we voted it in, and we followed the will of the citizens of this township, and there has been no pushback whatsoever on this. And so Officer Lindahl comes in periodically and reports to the board on this, so which we really appreciate. We get to ask him any kinds of questions that we have, and it's all been excellent. So,
Good job.
yeah. So
It's a
we're
different
really
day.
yeah. It is a different day,
Mm-hmm.
and the citizens felt very strongly about that. It's a different day.
Yeah.
And they wanted the students, and it wasn't just people who had kids in school. It was everyone felt strongly about it. So
And I think the teachers will probably be better at their job now. Heck, you can handle some of that.
I have received quite a bit of, hey, can you look into this for me? Yes.
Yeah. And with that said too, this is a smaller township. I mean, I know about an incident. So, I mean, it's more intimate here because it's smaller. So people talk to each other. So we know a little bit more than you would in a larger township. So I appreciate that. Martha, you had a question.
Do the parents have that phone number too?
I believe the superintendent, he put out a newsletter that included that phone number, so I'm pretty confident it's out there as well.
Anyone else have any questions? All right.
Just really glad you're there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right. Next would be our treasurer's report.
Our December 1st, 2023 beginning general fund balance was $1,186,617.81. Revenues totaled $76,310.11. Expenditures totaled $64,962.16, leaving an ending balance of $1,197,965.76. And then, I noticed that when we paid, the second half of the pavilion to K&R Construction, it was $1,800 more than what we had originally seen on the quote. And the board had actually approved, because we didn't have a quote at the time, we approved to spend, I think it was up to $35,000 on the pavilion. So there was an extra $1,800 charge because we were required to have sealed building plans in order to get the permit, which we hadn't foreseen. But we approved, you know, we're okay as far as the amount. This amendment is just to reflect that we are using our ARPA funds on that $1,800 as well.
Is it necessary? It's not necessary that we vote on this, is it? Because
We always have had a motion and a support for any
Okay.
budget
all right.
amendments.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so if someone would like to.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second
Thank
All
you.
right. Any discussion before we move forward on that? All right, because it is a financial amount, roll call, please.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
All right, motion
Unanimous.
carries. Thank you. Before we place Heather's report on file, though, I would ask, did anyone have any questions of Heather?
I have none.
All right, then we will place Heather's report on file. Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Next, Dave, is yours. Any disbursements?
We have the general fund and disbursements. The only thing out of the ordinary was the pole barn, the second half. And the rest of the expenses were routine, so none of the ordinary.
All right,
So I will make a motion that we pay all of our regular bills for the month of January.
Support.
Any questions on that? All right, then again, financial. Roll call.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes,
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
motion carries. Thank you. Correspondence, Dave.
Nothing on the ordinary.
Okay. Anyone else?
I wanted to try to set a date for the audit we spoke about in the last special meeting. Is now the time?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Now, the next on the agenda would be zoning and planning. That would be Lorraine's report. You all received that in your packet. And so.
Great job.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very
It
thorough.
is nice.
Does anyone have any questions for Lorraine on this? No one?
Nope.
All this work and no questions?
That's good.
I think she did a good job.
No questions,
She's
just
done a great
comments.
job.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lorraine. All right, public comments, agenda items only. Anyone have any questions on the agenda? Second time, third time? All right, moving on to unfinished business. This is the pavilion rental agreement. It's my understanding that we all already have someone who is chomping at the bit, waiting to reserve our pavilion. So they are just waiting to find out what we are going to do with the pavilion. So you have in front of you options for the rental agreement, and you've all had a chance to look at it. Oh, Brian, your packet
fine.
is in your board.
Oh, my box, that's fine, I'll share.
Oh.
I went through it very thoroughly the last 2 days, so. I can't quite quote
Yeah,
it.
I
Close.
emailed Brian's packet to him, but it got moved off the desk
did.
and placed
Thank
in
you.
your box.
Sure.
Sitting right there.
I said I review it very thorough, so.
Yeah.
Just to review. I just seen Dave had some questions there.
Yeah. So when initially, several months back in, I believe it was September, October, I took a stab at borrowing liberally from the city of Muskegon and Muskegon Charter Township, some of the documents they used. And then I had a discussion from with Parplan on what they felt we should be doing. And Parplan is part of our insurance company. They're affiliated with our insurance company. And they sent over their property use rental agreement. Theirs is very detailed and probably better than, in my mind, in my estimation. So with that said, I would like a motion so that we could open this up for discussion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and support. So with that said, if we could then begin discussion on this. And Heather also, in your packet, has taken some time and done some research on some of the surrounding townships and what they have done in terms of renting pavilions and doing damage deposits. So you have that in your packets as well.
Well, I'd just like to comment that, this is a community park, it's a community pavilion. Tax dollars are paid for it once, I don't think we should charge our residents to use it. If we want to charge a deposit for any damage or anything, fine, but let they clean it up, give it back to them.
So I called 4 townships and 1 city, and I was really surprised. One of the townships doesn't allow their pavilion to be reserved. It's there. If you're the first one, it's yours. Otherwise, you're out of luck. 2 of the townships, they allow people to reserve it. They don't charge a fee. And then one of the townships, if you want to risk it, and it's first come, first serve. But if you want to make sure that this is my date, I'm having something, you can reserve it. And their fee was $40. But if you want to just show up and hopefully nobody's there, they're fine with that too. And even, the city of Whitehall was the only one that charged a rental fee. The other townships didn't, other than that one that you could if you wanted to make sure. So I was surprised by that. I also was really surprised. I asked all of them if they have trouble with garbage and messes, especially the ones that aren't charging, or none of them charge a deposit. They said no. It's been really good. The only one was the city of Whitehall. They said occasionally they do have where something needs to be cleaned, but it's in the agreement that if you leave it a mess, you'll be charged for the damages, and you'll be charged $25 per hour that it takes their crew to clean up after you. So, and by the sounds of it, it doesn't happen often. So I thought that was encouraging, that most people are, they do a good job. They clean up after themselves.
It was $25 per hour, wasn't it?
That was,
Yeah,
yep,
per hour,
yep.
right.
If you leave it a mess,
Mhm.
the city will charge you $25 per hour that their crew has to clean up after you. So, they did also, they would charge a deposit if the person was gonna put up a tent, because she said they've had where the
Sprinkler
system.
irrigation.
Yes, irrigation things could be damaged by people, you know. So other than that, they don't charge a deposit. So it's kind of all over the place what we wanna do.
I
Some
definitely-
rent to anybody, and
Yeah.
some only rent to their residents too.
Yeah.
That was another thing.
I like to be able to reserve it, absolutely. If you wanna plan something, you'd like to reserve it.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm weighing with Dave as, you know, a fee to rent it. I don't know if that's necessary. I am definitely for a fee for a deposit and or a cleanup afterwards. So, I mean, I think it'd be great if you could just rent it and don't have to pay a rental fee, but you have some responsibility and you sign this document here. I went through it pretty good. I got a few concerns with a few things, but the majority of it looks good.
I agree with Brian, Dave, that we should charge a deposit, but a fee for the rental. You know, it is a community park, we call it a community park, and that's just the way I feel.
Do we do something to make sure that our residents have more, like, do we charge non-residents to rent it, or do we give residents first chance to reserve it before we allow someone outside? Something to think about.
I have strong feelings that we need to reserve it, because I mean, I heard stories like about people camping out at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, no way in God's green earth are we gonna make our people
Yes, reservation.
go out at midnight or 5 a.m. to reserve the park.
Yep.
That can be simplified by putting up a sign and a reserve sign by. And that's really a simple fix. And we already have a calendar in our system already whereby somebody calls in, they can call in advance and reserve the pavilion. That's simple. Nobody needs to sit out there. Sorry. I rather believe that we did pay a lot of money to get this done. Granted, it was through ARPA dollars, but this pavilion is not going to last forever. And I believe that we need to endow this for the future. And that can be done through a rental agreement. It doesn't need to be big. It can be done by maybe a small amount for maybe $25 for our residents, a larger amount for out-of-town residents. And Heather's, when she writes when her family has been renting Sullivan Township, they pitch in a couple dollars per family. And it can go into a fund that endows a building fund for future pavilion repairs, because believe me, that pavilion will not last forever. And we need to be looking at long-term building development for the kids of the future, the families of the future. That's where I stand. In terms of deposit, I kind of like we will leave it perfectly clean. You are expected to leave it perfectly clean. If you don't, the fee will be $25 per hour to clean it up. That's pretty simple. We're not asking Dave or Heather or whomever is here after us then to do anything in terms of processing checks. That's a lot of book work.
Well, I was thinking about the administrative time it's going to take a deposit and get it, then return it to the individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're also going to have somebody inspect and view that prior to them utilizing it, because you don't want them going out and somebody just happened to stop in and make a mess of it, and then they show up and got to spend a half an hour cleaning it up, and then, you know, they leave it clean. So there's a few things. We're going to have, you know, the township's going to have responsibility. I don't think you're really going to make. I don't really want to try to make money on it. Our park is beautiful. It's really growing. We got some great projects to finish up on. I really like the idea of saying, hey, we got this beautiful park. You're allowed to utilize it if you reserve it, but if you leave it a mess, then you get charged.
Yeah.
That's my stance on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we going to say,
We have a motion
Yeah.
on the table now.
right, I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, like, what are the details? Are we going to charge the residents a small fee and just forget the deposit? And then if they wanna reserve it, if they wanna risk it and, you know, then just show up that day, but if they wanna make sure they have it, they pay $25 to rent it for the day. And if the outside, you know, someone outside of Cedar Creek Township wants to rent it, they pay a higher fee than our residents. So our residents have a kind of a perk because it's their park.
Well, that would require a new motion, I think, too. However
we're
we
just
do- yeah,
discussing,
Yeah,
so-
we're just discussing, yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know if are we hammering out all these details tonight?
Well, here's what I would do. I
It sounds
think.
like that we have too many details.
I know, there's
We
a
have
lot.
too
It's a
many-
non-issue with the other
Yeah.
townships, you know? Yeah,
Here's
it's out
what
there,
I-
if they wanna use it, fine.
Yeah.
Here's
I think we're overthinking it.
Well,
Wait,
a lot
you
of them,
can't
you do have
overthink
to
it,
have them
yeah,
sign
yeah.
something, some sort of agreement so that they're,
The park plan agreement is by far the better agreement, although the one form, I would take out the ball field and there's a few things. We could send this to a quick subcommittee for hammering out details and bring it hammered out to the sub, to
do you mean like the Parks and Rec Committee?
Mhm.
Hammer out the details and bring
Yeah.
it back to the board and.
on February 9th. We had
Yeah, I like
decided
that
that we
idea.
would
Yeah,
bring
that's a
this, before our February 9th meeting, would bring the Parks and Rec Committee together anyway.
Okay, so I'll make a motion, we send it to the Parks and Rec Committee to work out the details of the rental agreement.
Support.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The next on our agenda is our senior millage plan under recurring business. And you've all had a moment to look at this. And I was really pleased that we received the information much earlier than we have in the past. And it is a little bit more than it was last year, although with that said, we've spent this much, almost this much last year on our own through personal donations, so. So I will need a motion on the floor to discuss this, or from the board.
Motion.
Support.
We have a motion and support, and if I could have some discussion on this.
So what are we discussing, what we're gonna do with the money, or?
Yes, what we're going to discuss, or that's what we're
Right.
discussing. We worked up a little bit of some thoughts on, you have a table here.
Flip it right over. No, it's not. Thank you.
Oh, good job, Dave.
Got it. It was hiding.
We thought what we did in the past last year worked really well. We added some adult exercise equipment. This year we thought we would put some of this money toward our pickleball court. The seniors love our apples that we do every year, the fresh apples, so we thought we would do that again. We also thought we went over on our December food bags. The cost of food is astronomical, and we really went $300 and some dollars over on the 5,000 some dollars we put in that budget. So we could have done much more. So we upped that to $5,700 this year. We have our some seniors like the contests that we do. We have a lot of fun things that we do with our contests. We have cookie contests and some photo contests that we do on Facebook, and those things that we do are really fun. And we have some social clubs, and we thought we'd throw bingo in there this year. We have coffee, cookies, and crafts. This year that got so noisy, we really ticked off people in the office. So, sorry, Lorraine. We're gonna have to do that in non-working hours. It was really raucous in here, so seniors can get really loud, and but we did have fun, and it really was a fun time. And our Maddle Senior Millage Book Club is so much fun, and it's turning out to be a journey of the soul, and that really is a fun journey, and we're going to continue to do that. So that brings us up to $15,292. If you are in agreement, I need to have your approval on this, and then I'll do script to follow this, and then it goes to Commissioner Zach Laring for his approval.
We aren't gonna charge to use the pickleball courts, are we?
No. Okay, Dave.
Deposit.
A deposit. I have to deposit, Dave.
Please, miss.
This might allow us, if we do this, might allow us to have enough room to put umbrellas on those pickleball courts so we can keep them from getting overheated.
My question is, since you went through this, other than the pickleball court, are there anywhere else we need to increase a little bit?
We can increase on this budget.
But we can reduce the cost out of the pickleball court, correct? And utilize that out of ARPA money? So what my statement is, were we better off utilizing a little bit of additional ARPA money towards our pickleball courts and add more to the book club and to the apples, or is this, you think it's very well balanced? So I mean, if we took $2,000 off the pickleball court and add it somewhere else, would that get more benefit to our general population of people?
I kept reducing pickleball money.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to think, what can I do? I wanted to put some of this toward pickleball, and you know, at one point I had more in there in pickleball, and I kept pulling more from pickleball.
Do we need to pull more? Are you happy with the numbers you have?
I think I'm pretty good with this.
Okay.
I feel pretty comfortable.
I know that these go a long ways with our community. The people really like the book club, you know, the prizes,
Food bags.
the food bags, and again, we have ARPA money that we can
The-
utilize also, right? I know
The
we're gonna
ARPA
talk-
money is not gonna stretch that much
As long as we
further.
think, I understand.
I think we are going to run short of ARPA funds.
All right. If you're confident with how these roll, then I'm comfortable with it.
I'm pretty sure that we are not gonna have enough ARPA funds to do what we wanna do out there. So
Okay.
that's why I'm hesitant to,
Okay.
the walking trail is going to take more funds than we
Yeah.
have ARPA funds to do. That's
know
what.
that. We know that. I just
So-
don't wanna shortchange the rest of them. And if
Yeah.
you're- Again, my statement was, if you're comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it.
I
You
think
ran the
I'm
numbers.
comfortable
You ran
with
the
this.
numbers. Okay.
I know I'm comfortable with the apples and we added I think enough additional funds in the, food bags this year to get us where we need to
Okay.
be, I think.
Okay.
So,
We won't have to purchase the actual bags this year either,
No,
so
we
that'll be
have the bags.
a little bit of a
Yeah,
cost savings,
yeah.
cause that was almost $200 for the actual
yes,
bags.
that's a
Wow.
good point.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do need a vote on this.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes,
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
thank you. I will then do the script and send this on to Commissioner Laring. Oh, and I forgot to put in MTA under new,
That's under new business,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Yep.
new business.
We get tired
Yep.
of that yet.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there, okay. But we are now.
Tire drive
Nope,
first.
we got tired.
Tire drive, okay. Okay. We had an opportunity from the county to talk about the tire drive for, where's this isn't in here. Is
It's
it?
under new business.
Oh, Construction Board of Appeals, yeah.
That's me.
Okay, to ask for a tire drive, and we did not do one in 2023. And the board had sort of agreed that the tire drive, maybe had reached its saturation point in 2023. So last week, while I was recycling, I noticed that nobody came in the morning. This is just an aside here. No one came, so I'm sitting there and I thought, well, I'm not just going to sit for 3 hours in my car. I'm going to get up and move. And so Hayden and I got up and we started cleaning the transfer station, because one of the things we have is the most beautiful transfer station in Muskegon County. We're going to keep it clean. So we walked around and we started picking up all the trash. Well, I happened to notice there's tires all around well, 3 is what I happen to see, but we shouldn't have tires around in the hills, and because I'm climbing hills, and I couldn't figure out how to get down the hills, but I got up them. And we shouldn't have tires on, in our transfer station, because we don't take tires, but we do. So we now have to figure out how to get rid of our own tires here too. And we know we have tires in people's properties in the woods and in the swamps and things like that. We do that to keep our tires, to keep the most beautiful township, and I know we're prejudiced, but it is one of the most beautiful townships in Muskegon County, clean and pristine and beautiful. So we're now must decide when we're going to do this tire drive. We can't do it over here anymore, so we now must pick a date. We're going to have to do it in the transfer station. So Heather and I sat down, this is long-winded, folks, but we picked, sort of quasi-picked a date, and we need your agreement on this, but we also have to have the discussion on how we can make this happen. The date we're looking at is May 18th, which is a Saturday.
Why
Are we-
can't we have it on the property around the area
Right here.
with a couple of trucks, right? Easy 2 trucks?
Where are you gonna do
Can't
it?
put it on that fresh
You
blacktop.
can't, yeah.
Okay.
Are we getting any help out of the county on this, as far as workers and stuff?
They
This
have,
is all
they
our
have,
own?
they furnish no help.
So we're all our own.
We're on our own.
I thought we couldn't get them because of the COVID rules last time.
No,
I
that
think
has,
that was what stopped it, and it has never
Really? That's
started
too
up
bad.
again.
Yeah.
That's a
So.
good program.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the pay it back program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
The
was
guys are always
excellent.
very helpful and very energetic and
yeah,
very positive.
yeah. They loved it too, but those days are
Okay.
all done.
So
So-
what's it gonna cost us if we do it all on our own?
Volunteers.
We gotta
Volunteers.
hope we can find
Yeah.
some younger volunteers.
I mean,
That's what
disposing
I'll
the
tell you
tires too,
what.
and renting the trailers, and
No,
it all costs money, right?
no. The only reason it costs us money is if we don't put at least one trailer, I always
One
do
tire
it.
per
One
trailer.
one tire in the second trailer.
Yeah.
We have 2 trailers.
So
The,
one tire and the second trailer.
Mhm.
the
You have to-
county
That way you don't have to pay for
secures
it.
the grant, but we just have to provide the place and the people.
Yeah.
There's no cost to us. We
Oh,
just
Yeah.
have
All right.
to hold it
So we had to
and
pay
have
for
the
it.
volunteers.
We got time to
But
get
if they bring
volunteers.
out 2
And
trailers.
2 trailers
we
are
don't
better
use
than
2,
3.
Yeah,
Then we pay for
we reduced it, yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Cause we used to do 3, well, actually, 3 and sometimes even more than that.
yeah. But those days, I think, we've done a good job of cleaning up Cedar Creek Township, and so now we're reducing it.
And having a transfer station, you could lock it up when you're full.
Yeah,
And people can't get in there and stack the
stuff
tires up
everywhere.
and
so,
stuff
I'm
like
fine with your
that.
May 18th date. We got time to start getting volunteers.
Yeah, I'm in.
so, okay, all right, with that said, I need a motion to, support May 18th, but we're also going to ask that we, not accept recycling or reduce the hours that we take trash that day.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, so what we're looking at is taking, we have a motion and a support, so we're looking at May 18th for the tire drive from 8:30 until 1, and then we'll take trash from,
1 to 3:30.
4:30? Just a suggestion.
well, different people will be doing that, either George or Wayne will be doing that,
So
but,
maybe we should see what
but
they're available.
yeah, later in the day, we'll ask them to
Schedule
work
to be
later in the day.
determined
Yeah.
by the workers of the.
So,
Okay.
so
And no recycling that day.
no recycling.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion and a support for those hours at the transfer station. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Ron Arts, if the guys won't do it, you understand that you will do the transfer station?
Be gone that weekend.
You will? Oh, you're just telling me you'll be gone? Okay. Next on the agenda would be the, I'm gonna put up the appointment to the Construction Board of Appeals. Last month, we had, we didn't have the names available for you. So in your packet, you have 3 names for the Construction Board of Appeals. I will need a motion and a support and a vote for each individual. The first on the list is Brian Wolfus.
Make a motion.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is Josh Giddings.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. His term, these terms all expire, I should say, December 31st, 2026. Next on is Ron Slater.
I don't know about that guy. Just kidding.
Okay. And I have
I'll make a
approved.
motion.
All right. I'm sorry for the camera. You just made my mouth drop. I know. Sorry. He's a really nice guy.
Oh,
We have a motion and a support. Did you say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh,
I made a motion
okay.
after all that.
I'll support.
Oh, all
All in
right.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All three are then approved for the Construction Board of Appeals. Thank you. Next is the MTA conference.
Yeah, it's April 22nd through 25th, and we want to get a head count of who's going, and so we can make reservations. So,
April,
22nd
That's a
through
good
25th.
conference.
Hmm?
That's a good conference.
Have you had a chance to think about it, or
Yeah.
are you going?
Yeah.
And your wife?
No.
Heather?
Probably, but I will do some schedule checking and let you know for
Okay.
sure.
Linda?
I do not know. I'll let you know.
All right. Brian?
High possibility. I wasn't sure on the dates.
That all has to be budgeted for in the next fiscal year.
All right. Yeah, as soon as you let me know, we can go ahead and make reservations. You've got to get in early in order to
Okay,
get
so
in the
you,
main hotel.
Yeah, by
Yeah.
January, what is that, 23rd?
I'll let you know by the end of the week.
Okay.
okay. All right, we will let you know.
All right.
How fast can you let?
I just have to check the kids' schedules and make sure
Okay.
I've got coverage.
Okay. And we removed the key tracking system, and I think that is it, correct? All right.
Unless you want to add more.
No, not today. All right, public comments. I forgot to put board comments on this. I think I ran out of room and it went into two pages, but,
Go
anyone
blue.
from the board?
Go,
Go
go
blue.
blue.
Yeah,
Michigan
Comments
won.
first or public first?
it's,
It was a late night
it's
last
generally
night.
board comments, but, yes, you had something
Yes.
you wanted to add. This would be the time.
In the
Yeah,
special
speak
meeting, we
this, right?
discussed
Sure.
us doing our audit.
Mhm.
I'd like to have that on the 18th of January, next Thursday, starting at 12 if it's possible.
18th.
Yep.
And then we gotta get the info today,
Yep.
what we need.
What we, yeah, ask for policies and specific things on that.
Okay. Okay.
And I
I'll
want,
be here.
oh, good. I want to tell everybody, thank you for coming down to the meeting. Thank you for service, and thank you for your service. This board works very hard. There's a lot of work that goes in the background of all these things that go on. We had a special meeting here recently that went very good. And since I've got on the board, I like to say this, is that we will come to terms on these policies and procedures or whatever, but it's not always right in the beginning. We all come at it from a different angle. We all actually care. We put our homework into it. We study it. So when we come in, sometimes our emotions they come up a little bit, right? But always try to stay very professional. So it's very nice to work on a board that at the end, you had a good solution. So that's been very positive with that. And our community's growing. You can look around our park. I get a lot of comments from people that come in. I have people that aren't even on our township, like, hey, I'm using your park because I came to the Halloween thing, and they love it. So very exciting things happening with the pavilion next year, and if we can get the pickleball courts and the walking trail, so a lot of good things happening. So I'm just very proud to have returned from the service into Cedar Creek Township. I was just saying to somebody earlier that when I was in the military, I was Desert Storm, Desert Shield, hot. Lived in Texas. I lived in Idaho where it was hot and warm. I've done some other tours. I really like the warm weather, but my family is here. That's where we've been. So, and I don't really like the snow, but I can deal with the snow.
I'm glad to have you back.
Yeah. And again, thank you for taking your time out to come down. It's nice to see the people. So, thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Dave? Bob?
Nothing.
Heather?
I'm good.
She just wants people to pay their taxes.
Yeah, come on, people.
Senator?
Just a few things to mention. The MTA meeting is very important in Lansing. You get to see us if we do the luncheon and that. But MTA does a really good job in Lansing representing you. Judy Allen is superb. I mean, she has our ear on every one of your issues, especially in the rural areas. She's your voice in Lansing. So if you can make it there, I would encourage that and get to know her, because she has me on speed dial all the time when issues come up, and we work very well together. We got to make sure all the other new legislators get to know MTA as well. But they are your voice in Lansing. They do a great job for you. I mean, she's really, really good at what she does.
Yes.
And whatever your dues are, it's well worth it.
We do pay our dues here. We love MTA.
Yeah, MTA does a nice job. But they also educate me. Legislators think we know everything. We don't know. I mean, she's the expert, but she's your expert in Lansing. So yeah, make sure you go get to know her, because she's your voice to us. But you also can call our office anytime. You have that contact number, and I'll leave some more cards. Back. I'll give you my cell phone too.
Thanks, sir.
It's 231. You're not the only one. 250-0654. And that's the cell phone that I carry. And if you do call the office, you'll get a hold of Andrew. He's the guy that does the scheduling. In district, you all know Christina. She does a great job for us in district. Tonight she's at the Muskegon meeting, City of Muskegon meeting. But I thought I'd stop over, see what's going on. I might make Holton yet later on. But Holton doesn't pay for part of the officer?
No,
Is that-
no. That was a bit of a bone of contention. I don't know
I'll have
that
to
I
look
want to
into
say
that
that on
for you.
camera, but.
Because I think having an officer in your township is just priceless.
Yeah, they did, quite frankly, they did not have it in their budget
Oh, okay.
to manage that.
Yeah.
So we, Adam Bain and I met with them. We had Alan there. We sat down with Alan, and it was a difficult decision for them,
Mhm.
So, but they just couldn't make it
Yeah.
work. So.
Well, hopefully maybe this next budget cycle they can put those dollars in there.
Yeah.
Also, anytime grant-wise, let us know. We can help you out with the grants. DNR Trust Fund grants due in the next couple months. I don't know if you're going to apply, but any grants that we can help you with to write support letters or make a call to the directors, we're willing to do that too. So, but we have to work together. Make sure you make the call.
Yeah. Also, one of the things that is really important to us, and Martha is just putting paperwork together, and I know this is something that's near and dear to you, would be our veterans.
Mhm.
And you've been working for years and years trying to get this moved to the state level. So, but it's like banging your head up
refund
against
back?
the wall.
Yeah. It's not dead yet.
Okay.
So we're still working on it.
Okay. I want you to know how much, and I tell you this every time I see you, how much I appreciate your efforts on our behalf, but Martha was tallying up the amounts
That's probably crazy even in the small township.
It is, and it's a small township. I mean, it means so much more because that's a huge piece out of our budget.
I have townships as 200,000-300,000.
Oh, it's more than that.
Yeah. So it's just, your efforts are not in vain, so thank you.
Yeah, Judy's been a big part of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
getting all the wording right. So hopefully this cycle, hopefully we can get it done.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost the state a couple $100+ million every year. But that law was passed down there, and you're paying for it.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
So, thank you. So, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Call
Thank you.
anytime.
Thank you.
And I do, when I need you.
Yeah, you do.
And you always call, you always get us the answers we need, so thank you for
Yeah,
that.
I have good staff. They've been with me 12 years,
Yeah,
so
so
that's
thank
pretty
you.
rare.
Yeah. And, also I'm working on the Michigan Senior Advocates Council, so the Ombudsman's program is
Mhm.
really, something that's important, so I may be contacting you about that very
Okay.
soon as well.
You know the number. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got a heckler and somebody's throwing stuff.
Someone needed to fix it.
All right.
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Beat Bob.
Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you so much.